May 10th. I am out here looking for the Sand Creek massacre site where there was a massacre of Cheyenne and Arapaho peoples by the U.S. Army during the Indian Wars, 1864. So it wasn't, Civil War was still going on. I hope it's out here in this area. I'm headed to the right spot. The visitor center is in the town, so I am out here. Let's see. Don't really see much. Kind of reminds me of home though a little bit. Back when I wasted my time in the oil fields. I feel like I should be reading a hand-drawn map, looking for a whalehead, and the map says take a right at the cattle guard and then go until I see a beer bottle on the fence, and then I'll turn left until there's a cow standing in the pasture. But anyways, I'm out here going to the Sand Creek massacre site. Driving into southern Colorado from Denver, southeastern Colorado. It's a lot more brown. I'm more comfortable driving in this kind of landscape. Mountains were pretty, but never knew what I was gonna run into. Decided to come home a day earlier. Weather was supposed to be bad and cold for the game. I don't want to deal with cold weather. And I got to see the Rocky Stadium yesterday anyway, so anybody working in oil fields, this is pretty common looking terrain right here, so I will get to the site hopefully soon. Okay, here at the Sand Creek Massacre National Historic Site. Following some treaties signed by natives with the U.S. government, Fort Laramie, gold is going to be discovered in Colorado, and that's going to bring on the Pikes Peak Gold Rush, which is going to restrict native lands even further. And the Colorado volunteers, cavalry, is going to come upon the villages here of Arapaho and Cheyenne. And what I was reading basically says that anywhere between 69 to 600 natives were killed, mostly women and children. So it's sad. This massacre has been referenced in movies and things like that. So let's go on to the further closer. Alright, right here at the Sand Creek Massacre site. I was talking to one of the rangers in the little welcome center area, and he says they put the victims at about 230 or so from the natives. And the actual site of the massacre is on the other side of that tree line, which is considered sacred ground, so they don't have access to it. But there is a road that I'm going to drive up to the top of Monument Hill over here and be able to look over. So I'm going to do that. I could hike it, but some other places I want to try and hit today, so I'm going to go ahead and drive. But the battle takes place during the Civil War. And the ranger said it was actually the first time where the term massacre is used. So there are investigations, and it's going on at the same time as the Civil War. So let's go ahead and drive over to that spot. I'm up here at Monument Hill. And there's the tree line where the massacre happens on the other side. It's peaceful out here considering what happened, but this is a battle that if you've seen The Last Samurai, I think it inspires one of the stories there. So it's sad a lot of instances like that happened. The village that was here was elderly, and then women and children. So in 2008, the first human remains from the massacre occurred in this area. The first burial of human remains occurs in this area. And they're going to start putting more here in the future. So it's a native burial ground, or going to be a native burial ground. trail. So I just spent about 40 minutes talking to a ranger up on top of that monument hill, and we talked about this event in 1864, how it's going to lead to events in Washita, Oklahoma, which is a place I went to last year, another massacre site. Although some say battle, it's more of a massacre, but how the people from here ended up moving around, and then Washita happens, and Washita is where Custer was, and massacred the people there, and eventually he's going to become enemy number one with natives, and leads up to Little Bighorn up in Crow Agency, Montana. So very, very glad that I made this stop and that I stayed and talked to the ranger. Talked about the influence of the Cheyenne, who originated up in the Great Lakes area and came down here, and how it all ties in with the Trail of Tears and relocation of native peoples. So one of the guys here, he was half native, was a map maker here, and he's the one that collected the recollections, the stories, wrote about what happened here. And so I'm going to go to he has a little fort area, Fort Bend, and I'm going to go visit there, and it's connected to this site. So this site being connected to Washita and dominoes that fall, eventually leading to Little Bighorn. This goes back to Fort Laramie. I dropped you, but I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on this unpaved road and go to the next stop. Kind of neat. One side all gold and the other side green. Here I am in the middle. Green to the left of me, gold to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you, if you're with me. So let's move on. I'm here at the Amache Relocation Center, National Monument, historic site. This Amache was a relocation center for Japanese Americans during World War II. So, Grenada Relocation Center, National Historic Landmark. In World War II, more than 7,300 Japanese Americans were interned here following their forced removal from the Western United States under the terms of Executive Order 9066. National significance and illustrating the history of the United States. Not really a great episode in our history. It's a mess hall, which I'm assuming is right there in those ruins. And the barracks, which is probably this whole area right here. Silkscreen shop. So right around here. You need to drive on a little farther. There's supposed to be like a water tower and another building, and not just these ruins. But this is where a lot of the camp was. Some agriculture. Looks like they might have had a storm. They're clearing up some trees and something over there. Let's go see if we can find the rest of this part. Alright, it's a recreation hall. I think this is a recreated recreation hall. I don't know if we can go in. Yeah, I can't go in, but this area here is the site of the athletic fields. Water tower. Looks like it's been refurbished a bit. It's the barracks and a guard tower. Guy on the other side looking in. Kind of surprised me a little bit. Barracks. Recreated barracks. The guard tower. The water tower. First of all, I can't imagine being rounded up just because of your ancestry during the war. And then being forced from your home on the West Coast to middle of nowhere, Denver, in Colorado. So, farmlands. No escaping here. Most of this camp here is no longer here, and I think the couple buildings that we saw were reconstructions. But man, being forced into basically a concentration camp because the United States was at war with Japan, and they figured that Japanese Americans would sabotage or hurt our war efforts. Today's turning out to be one of those visiting all the bad things happening to different groups type day. When I end up in New Mexico tonight, that's another thing that's bad to another group because, well, they were part of Texas at one time and now they're not. So that was also another thing that done wrong to another group. But anyways, the let's go see something else on the way. I'm gonna head to Bent's Fort, or Old Bent's Fort. We're at the Boggsville site, historic site. And this is the original gravesite of Kit Carson. House. So I was walking there at Boggsville historic site, last home of Kit Carson. I was gonna walk around, and the gentleman working there gave me a walking tour. So for the last half hour or so, I didn't want to be filming or anything while getting the tour. It was interesting. Boggsville historic site. They're gonna do some excavations and things like that to see if they can find the original Kit Carson home. So I'm now headed to Fort Old Bent's Fort, about 15 minutes away. That's a graveyard. So here we go. Bent's Old Fort. Let's go see. Bent's Old Fort. Santa Fe Trail. So it looks like from far away. Trading post on the trail, Santa Fe Trail. I'll walk all the way over there. Watch out for snakes. Couldn't imagine being on a trail and then coming up to a place like this.
The visitors are just as diverse. In the fort was a melange of traders and employers, government officers and subordinates, Indians, Frenchmen, and hunters.
Looks almost like a movie set. cool in here. So the upstairs is being remodeled, renovated. Yeah, it looks like an old movie set. I knew someone once that would remark about firewood. Look at that, we got us a peacock. Peacock in the middle of nowhere, fort in Colorado. So I saw peacock. Pretty sure I heard some rattlers on the way in. Peacock cut through here earlier. Blacksmith? When I was a kid, this would have been the type of place that I would have loved to just run around and maybe I had some friends and just play cap guns or something. The good stuff. Wonder how much this has been rebuilt. I'll go try to get close to the peacock. That's a pretty boy. The blue. Seen a lot of these chili pods. It's getting a New Mexico feel. So I said that it felt like a movie set. Apparently a lot of like miniseries and things have been filmed here. You said throughout the 80s there's a ranger there. And almost all of it is a reconstruction. So I think just the site and where it's located is the historical part, and then the little cemetery. Apparently peacocks are native to this area. Who'd have thought? So that was kinda my last really planned thing for the day. I've still got about 2 hours till 4:30, so maybe I can find something in a neighboring town before I cross over into New Mexico, working my way back home. So seeing a lot of things like that reminds me of other places I've been to with other people and how much they probably would have enjoyed it or wanted to climb around on things. Little things like little Lego sets of each monument that I was going to build, places to visit it, but can't do anything about that now. Still haven't really found anything. I've had some days where I've been at peace for the most part, but like always the nighttime loneliness hits. So as long as that sun stays up, things are alright. I'm gonna head into Santa Fe, grab some dinner, and then be home tomorrow night. So let's see where I end up next. I've decided I'm gonna go ahead and return to Midland. I'm just ready to get home. Feeling a little homesick a little bit. I just got this feeling in my gut. I don't know. I gotta get home, and I miss my pups. So I'm headed home. I'm about 7 hours out. Getting home about around midnight. So that's what I'm doing.